Prime Minister Narendra Modi to lay the foundation of the new Parliament House today. The new building is expected to be ready by the 75th anniversary of India's independence. New state-of-the-art structure to be a shining example of Atmanirbhar Bharat. The Union Cabinet approves historic PM Wani, that is Prime Minister Wi-Fi Access Network Interface Scheme, to improve Wi-Fi availability across the country. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says the scheme will further improve the ease of doing business and ease of living in the country. Agitating farmers reject government's proposal despite a return assurance on MSP. Farmers refuse to step down on demand for repeal of new agricultural reform laws. Also express willingness to consider fresh proposal. CDSCO seeks more data from Pfizer, Serum Institute and Bharat Biotech for the approval of emergency use of COVID vaccine. Expert panel to meet again to consider vaccine approval. Health Ministry rejects fake news on government's rejection of any vaccine candidate. Several parts of the country witness polls today. Fifth phase of DDC elections in Jammu and Kashmir begins. Second and final phase of BTC elections in Kolkata and Chirang districts of Assam also in progress. 5 districts of Kerala in polling stations for the second phase of local body elections. In international news, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson arrives at Brussels for last-ditch talks on Brexit. European Commissioner Chief says both parties are far apart on trade deal. Also says will come to a decision by the weekend. And in sports, Spanish clubs Real Madrid and Atletico and English club Manchester City march into the UEFA Champions League round of 16. Despite losing to Real Madrid, German club Mönchengladbach also reached the final 16. Good morning. Welcome to English News at 9:30. I'm Anil Thomas. Now for the stories in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to lay the foundation stone of the new Parliament building at Sansad Marg in New Delhi today. The new building is an intrinsic part of the vision of an Atmanirbhar Bharat and will be a landmark opportunity to build a people's parliament for the first time after independence, one which will match the needs and aspirations of new India in the 75th anniversary of independence in 2022.
The new Parliament building will be modern, state-of-the-art and energy efficient, with highly non-obtrusive security facilities to be built as a triangular-shaped building adjacent to the present Parliament. Lok Sabha will be 3 times of the existing size and the Rajya Sabha will be substantially bigger. The interiors of the new building will be showcasing a rich amalgamation of Indian culture and diversity of our regional arts, crafts, textiles and architecture. The design plan includes space for a magnificent central constitutional gallery, which will be accessible to the public and the differently abled. It will consist of a public waiting area as well as press lounges for the media. The construction of new Parliament building will utilize resource-efficient green technology, promote environment-friendly practices, generate employment opportunities and contribute towards economic revitalization. It will have high-quality acoustics and audio-visual facilities, improved and comfortable seating arrangements, effective and inclusive emergency evacuation provisions. The building will comply with the highest structural safety standards, including adherence to Seismic Zone 5 requirements, and is designed for the ease of maintenance and operations.
अलग-अलग प्रदेश की अपनी-अपनी वहाँ की कलाकृतियाँ, वहाँ की विशेष रूप से वहाँ की अपने शिल्पकारों के द्वारा बनाई हुई कई हस्तशिल्प की वस्तुएं भी यहाँ पर लगेगी, उनकी कलाकृतियों को भी यहाँ दर्शाएंगे। तो एक तरीके से भारत का विविधता का सपना लेकर ये हमारा नया संसद भवन बनेगा।
The foundation laying ceremony for the new Parliament building, scheduled for tomorrow, will be attended by Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, Minister of Parliamentary Affairs Prahlad Joshi Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri, Deputy Chairman Rajya Sabha Harivansh Narayan Singh. Around 200 dignitaries will attend the function virtually as the Prime Minister lays the foundation stone for the magnificent structure. Bureau Report, DD India.
Well, the central government is looking to set up a public Wi-Fi system across the country to provide a wireless internet connection to citizens. To this end, the Union Cabinet on Wednesday approved a framework for the proliferation of public Wi-Fi networks through a PM Wani scheme. Later in a tweet, the Prime Minister said historic PM Wani scheme will revolutionize the tech world and significantly improve the Wi-Fi availability across the length and breadth of India. It will further bring more energy to the ease of doing business and the ease of living. The scheme would enable our small shopkeepers to provide Wi-Fi services. This will boost incomes as well as ensure our youth get seamless internet connectivity. It will also strengthen our Digital India mission. The Cabinet also approved the Universal Service Obligation Fund scheme for providing 4G mobile coverage in Arunachal Pradesh and 2 districts of Assam under the Comprehensive Telecom Development Plan for Northeastern region. The Cabinet also gave its nod to the provision of submarine optical fiber cable connectivity between mainland Kochi and Lakshadweep Islands besides others. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh addressed the virtual ceremony of the 10th anniversary of Asean Defence Ministers Meeting Plus. Speaking on the occasion, the Defence Minister stressed to promote ASEAN centrality in the Indo-Pacific region. He highlighted on the collective achievement in the past decade which has advanced the multilateral cooperation between India and ASEAN.
The ASEAN outlook on the Indo-Pacific underscores the impetus to cultivate strategic trust and continuously promote ASEAN centrality in the regional architecture. Our collective achievement in the past decade has been remarkable in advancing multilateral cooperation through strategic dialogue and practical security cooperation.
Well, Defence Minister further stressed on the importance of common challenge which requires endeavours at all levels. He appreciated efforts of all the participants in fighting COVID-19.
COVID-19 has changed the world and left us many hurdles to overcome. Unfortunately, the disruptive effect of the pandemic is still unfolding. It is our common challenge which requires endeavours at all levels. We appreciate efforts of all the participants and are constantly looking at imbibing the best practices as institutionalized by the members in fighting COVID-19.
Well, as part of his nationwide tour, BJP President JP Nadda is on a 2-day visit to West Bengal. Today, on the second day of his visit, Nadda will visit the Ramakrishna Ashram and later hold a meeting with representatives of the fishermen's community. He will also hold a press conference later in the evening. Meanwhile, on Wednesday, Nadda inaugurated the BJP election office at Hastings in Kolkata. Addressing the party workers, he said that BJP will keep West Bengal's culture alive as it shares a special relation with the state. He also slammed Mamata government for intolerance and increasing attack on BJP workers in the state. Well, for more on the story, Anubrito, our correspondent, joining us from Kolkata. Anubrito, good morning. Second day of BJP President JP Nadda's visit to Kolkata. We read about the program there that he has for the day. But how is, especially when it comes to the party, how is the party making inroads in the eastern state of India?
Anil, as you know, BJP emerged as the main contender of Trinamool Congress since last Lok Sabha election happened to take place in last year. And now the battle line is drawn. Gloves are off and Trinamool Congress and BJP are locked in horns, And what we have largely seen here, the BJP organization is increasing by strength by strength, And BJP President JP Nadda's visit this time in West Bengal electrified the mood in the truest sense of word of the party supporters. And basic objective of the BJP president to this time is to galvanize the party.
Okay.
Because we have found yesterday that inaugurated 9 election offices, 1 in Kolkata and 9 in different districts of West Bengal. So the thing is that BJP time and again is saying that they are determined this time to unseat Trinamool Congress from power. And JP Nadda yesterday voiced optimism. You say that they are going to secure 2/3 majority in the forthcoming election in West Bengal. And apart from the meeting with the party supporters, and the workers, JP Nadda has several outreach programs. Yesterday he had, today also he will meet with the fishing community in Diamond Harbour there. And what is largely being seen, what we had seen yesterday, that he visited, he hit the Mamata Banerjee's star Bhawanipur, because and today again he will visit Mamata Banerjee's nephew parliamentary constituency.
True.
Diamond Harbour.
Well, that's exactly what I was coming to.
Tour, he wants to send message to the people that here is BJP, who is the main contender of Trinamool Congress, and will secure 2/3 majority and outseat Trinamool Congress from power. Bhawanipur, what we largely seen, it is if we read the result of the last Lok Sabha election, and if we go by the result, we will find that the BJP has registered lead almost 125 seats in West Bengal. And in the municipal seat, if we find that in Kolkata alone they are ahead in 55 municipal seats. Thing is that in Bhawanipur, out of 8 seats municipal seat wards, BJP is leading in 6 seats. So you can measure the popularity that is largely increasing, and the thing is that how it gets translated into reality in the forthcoming election next year, that is to be seen.
And since you mentioned,
discontent is largely rising in Trinamool Congress,
and
bubbles have started bursting, and what we have seen that the several heavyweight leaders in Trinamool Congress has raised their voice of discontent. Subhendu Adhikari, who is the heavyweight leader, and he resigned from ministry. Now how BJP capitalizes all these things, that is to be seen on it.
Okay. Now, since you mentioned Bhawanipur constituency, Bhawanipur constituency is the constituency from where Mamata Banerjee fought last time. She managed to retain the seat by 25,000 votes. But having said that, BJP President Day 1 Bhawanipur, Day 2 he's hitting Diamond Harbour. That's Abhishek Mukherjee's constituency. Looking at, do you see somewhere the main contender there, BJP taking the bull by its horn when it comes to tackling the TMC in this particular forthcoming assembly elections?
Yeah, that's everyone is predicting, because what the recent trend is showing is as such, and BJP is largely, the party is largely, enthusiast in the truest sense, and the party organization has largely been galvanized, and they are increasing by strength day by day. And the thing is that the thing is largely to be seen how it gets translated. That is to be seen. But if you measure the popularity of BJP, soon after its formation in 1984, it took 15 years for BJP to secure a single seat in West Bengal State Assembly. Thereafter, they had to wait another 15 years to get another seat in 2011. So thereafter, the situation has started changing. From 2016 onwards, BJP started raising its strength, and what we found in the 2018 this panchayat election, BJP staked its claim and found how popular it is among the people, and from the 2019 onwards, BJP is increased.
Anibrito, I get the point. What you're trying to say is what began as a jog is now turning into a sprint for the BJP. We'll have to wait and watch how this particular election pans out. Thank you, and appreciate you joining us this morning with those updates there on the BJP President's 2-day visit to West Bengal. Well, shifting focus to now taking a look at COVID-19 and the numbers on COVID-19 from across the country. 37,725 recoveries recorded on Wednesday, taking that cumulative total of recovered patients in India to 92,53,306. With this, the recovery rate in India currently moving one notch ahead at 94.74%. India's three-pronged strategy, that's triple T, test, trace and treat, is proving to be a success. The fatality rate in India has dropped to 1.45%, with 1,41,772 deaths being recorded so far. The number of active cases in India standing at 3,72,293, which is 3.81% of the total cases being reported so far. And it's for the fourth straight day that India is recording less than 4 lakh cases in India. Meanwhile, experts from the Central Drug Standard Control Organization on Wednesday reviewed the claims of 2 companies seeking emergency use authorization for their COVID-19 vaccine candidates. At the meeting, 2 companies, Serum and Bharat Biotech, gave their respective presentations. The application by the Indian arm of US pharmaceutical firm Pfizer was not taken up for deliberation, as the firm sought more time for making presentation before the committee. Both Serum and Bharat Biotech have been asked to share more data in the next review meeting, keeping in view the safety and health of people. It may be noted that the subject expert panel neither gave its approval nor disapproval. The subject expert panel only gave its recommendations, while Drugs Controller General of India gives its approval. Meanwhile, Union Health Ministry has termed as fake the report presented by a private TV channel, which said that the CDSCO had turned down Serum Institute of India and Bharat Biotech's proposal for emergency authorizations for their vaccines. Shifting to elections across the length and breadth of the country, heading first up north in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, voting is underway for the 5th phase of the DDC elections and Panchayat By-polls 2020. In the 5th phase of voting being held in 37 constituencies, including 17 from Kashmir division and 20 from Jammu, there are a total of 299 candidates that include 229 males and 70 female candidates in the electoral fray in this phase of DDC elections. In the 5th phase, 8,27,000 electorates are eligible to cast their votes. A total of 2,104 polling stations have been set up across the Union Territory for this phase, out of which 914 are in the Jammu division, while 1,190 are in the Kashmir division. Heading down south, after the first phase of local body elections in 5 districts witnessed good turnout of 72.67%, voting is underway today across 5 more districts in the second phase. Elections are being held in Kottayam, Ernakulam, Thrissur, Palakkad and Wayanad today, and the third and final phase on the 14th of December will see voting in Malappuram, Kozhikode, Kannur, Kasaragod districts in northern Kerala. Special arrangements are also in place to ensure voting by COVID patients and quarantined people. The election witnessing tight fight between the 3 alliances, Left Front, Congress-led UDF and the NDA. The issues being debated on the poll ground fare from local issues to the recent gold smuggling cases. Results will be declared on the 16th of December. Heading east to Assam, where the voting for the second phase of Bodoland Territorial Council elections in 12 constituencies under Kokrajhar and 7 constituencies in the Chirang districts are being held today. In Kokrajhar, over 10,53,000 voters will decide the fate of 70 candidates in 506 polling stations. In Chirang, a total of 3,68,000 voters will decide the fate of 34 candidates. Following COVID guidelines, the polling stations are sanitized, face masks and hand sanitizers being kept in each polling station. The first phase of election in 21 constituencies under Udalguri and Buxa district went off peacefully on December 7th, where overall 77.21 polling percentage was recorded. Altogether, 241 candidates are in the poll fray across 40 constituencies in the council elections this time. Counting will be held on the 12th of December. To Karnataka, and shifting focus, the Karnataka Assembly passed an anti-cow slaughter law with stringent provisions in the legislation similar to the ones enacted in Uttar Pradesh and Gujarat. The new law imposed a blanket ban on slaughter of cattle in the state, restriction on transport of cattle, and punishments includes hefty fines and jail term up to 7 years. The opposition created ruckus and staged a walkout, protesting the way the bill was tabled and passed without discussion. Meanwhile, Congress will boycott the session today. Continuing its proactive activities against India, Pakistani troops yet again violated ceasefire and restored to indiscriminate and unprovoked firing on Indian forward posts and civilian areas along the line of control in the border districts of Poonch last night. Defense spokesperson told DD News that at about 2200 hours last night, Pakistani troops started firing with small arms and intense shelling with mortars along the LOC in the Mankote sector. However, alert Indian Army immediately retaliated and gave a befitting reply. Meanwhile, movement of a drone was noticed at the international border in Araspura sector of Jammu district last night. According to the Border Security Force, the drone went back after the alert BSF troops fired at it. Well, after the Indian Air Force expressed objection against Anil Kapoor inaccurately wearing the Indian Air Force uniform in the upcoming movie, the actor has issued an apology through his official Twitter handle. Anil Kapoor, in a video post, apologized to the Indian Air Force for unintentionally hurting people's sentiment. Earlier, the Indian Air Force shared a video clip of the movie in its Twitter handle and said that the Indian Air Force uniform in this video is inaccurately donned and the language used is inappropriate. This does not conform to the behavioral norms of those in the armed forces of India. The related scenes need to be withdrawn. On to international stories. UK's Prime Minister Boris Johnson and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen agreed to take a firm decision about the future of trade talks until Sunday. Both leaders agreed for the deadline after a 3-hour talk over dinner in Brussels. The leaders said they should come to a deal or no deal outcome by the end of the weekend. EU negotiator Ursula von der Leyen said that both sides stand far apart on the Brexit deal, however, will focus on resolving issues. Despite 9 months of talks, large gaps were said to remain between the UK and European Union. Meanwhile, UK Chief Negotiator Lord Frost will resume talks with his EU counterpart Michel Barnier in Brussels today. Also, a quick look at numbers when it comes to COVID-19 from across the world. The total tally of cases of the virus has now crossed 6 crore 91 lakh mark, with more than 4 crore 79 lakh recoveries being made, 15 lakh 74,000. That's the death toll across the world. United States, the worst affected by the pandemic, both in terms of caseload as well as fatalities. In terms of caseload, 1 crore 57 lakhs. That's the number of infections in America. 2 lakh 96,000, the death toll from USA. Well, on to sports. Karim Benzema's 2-header sent Real Madrid into the Champions League knockout stages with a 2-0 victory over Borussia Mönchengladbach, which also qualified for the last 16. Inter Milan and Shakhtar Donetsk drew 0-0. Both sides needed to win to qualify, but they go out with a San Siro draw. Real started the day in third place and in a major danger of their first ever group stage elimination. Real have now reached the knockout rounds in all 25 of their Champions League campaigns and every season since 96-97 when they did not qualify for Europe. Zinedine Zidane's side have won 4 of the past 7 Champions League titles. Inter have been eliminated in the Champions League group stage for the 3rd consecutive season. Staying with Spanish football, but moving to neighbours Atletico Madrid, who battled to a 2-0 win against Salzburg thanks to a goal each from Hermoso and Carrasco to secure a place in the Champions League knockout stage. Diego Simeone's side beat Salzburg 3-2 in a reverse fixture, their only Group A win prior to Wednesday, and needed just a point from the trip to Austria to advance. The La Liga leaders have been in impressive form domestically, but have failed to fire on all cylinders in Europe, with this being their 2nd win in 6 Group A matches. Atletico have progressed from the group stage in 7 of their 8 Champions League campaigns under Diego Simeone, with 2017-18 the only season they suffered elimination in the group stage. Well, Sergio Aguero will never lose his scoring instinct after the veteran striker made a goal-scoring return from injury against Marseille to help English club Manchester City notch a 3-0 win in the Champions League outing. Aguero had missed the last 3 games with a knee injury but scored 10 minutes after coming off the bench to add to Ferran Torres' opener at the Etihad. Alvaro Gonzalez then put in his own net as he tried to stop Raheem Sterling scoring to wrap up a comfortable win for City, who have already won Group C prior to Wednesday's game. A group points tally of 16 from 6 games is the biggest haul of matches, the most achieved by any English club at this stage. City manager Pep Guardiola has, however, indicated and confirmed that Saturday's Manchester derby against United comes too soon for Aguero to make a return to City's starting lineup. On to cricket, former Indian wicketkeeper Parthiv Patel has announced his retirement from all forms of cricket on Wednesday. The 35-year-old represented India in 25 Tests, 38 ODIs and 2 T20s, having made his international debut as a 17-year-old in 2002. Having last played for India in 2018, Patel put out a statement on his Twitter handle announcing his retirement from all forms of the game. And he said, and I quote, "I feel at peace having played the game in its truest tenets with dignity and in the spirit of the game, and more importantly, with great camaraderie. As I walk away a proud man, having fulfilled more dreams than I thought possible, I hope to be remembered with that thought and find your support for my future endeavors." Well, that's all we have time for in this edition of news. Thanks for watching, but you take good care of yourself and have a safe and wonderful day ahead. Bye-bye.